The truth is, thousands of riders are currently on the road with minimal protective gear. So let's face it, the discomfort of ill-fitting gear often leads riders to neglect its importance. Luckily, MBT offers casual riding gear like hoodies, jackets, and pants that are lined with Kevlar and equipped with CE armor to safeguard major areas of contact. So try it out for yourself and discover why over 100,000 riders love MBT gear only at mbtclothing.com. So before we get into the mod list, I want to say some things. I have had this bike for 4 years, if you guys are new to the channel. I've been a part of different forums, always checking eBay and all these other places for parts, and I have seen the prices of parts change throughout the 4 years of ownership of the S1000. So I do have some pretty good insight on where you guys can get these parts the cheapest, and I will drop all that in the description, as well as do my research to make sure that you guys are not overpaying for these parts. So this is a 2018 S1000Rr. A lot of these mods that you can do, you can apply these to the 2010 to the 2018 S1000Rr. And most of these parts are just updated to the new S1000, so if you guys are watching this video and you do have a K67, the 2020 Plus, a lot of these parts are available for your bike, just in a different fitment. So right here we got the matte gecko LEDs. It is a little bit pricey for these headlights, but it is an entire headlight housing. A lot of people think these are just like LED strips that you put in like the OEM headlight housing. No, the OEM headlights are completely gone, and those are the new ones. Matte gecko LED makes these. I get a ton of comments, mainly on my Instagram, asking where I got these headlights from. So again, I will throw the link in the description. I bought these headlights used off a friend, so I did get them a little bit cheaper than what they were brand new, but nonetheless, man, they are absolutely gorgeous. I've had this on the bike for quite some time now, and it just doesn't get old to me. When you're riding the bike, people know it's me when I'm pulling up with the headlights. People know what this bike is when they see those headlights. But yeah, they are about $500 to $600 depending on where you get them from. Next up, we got some Litech block offs for the mirrors. I've been running these forever. They're like 20-25 bucks on Amazon. I love the way the bike looks without no mirrors, and I don't think I'll ever put mirrors back on any of my other sport bikes unless it's like an adventure bike and I plan on just cruising the bike. I very much keep my head on a swivel when I'm riding, and I really don't mind having to look back over my shoulder to make sure everything's all good when I'm riding. So that is my take on mirrors, even though it is a million times safer with mirrors. Don't be stupid like me, keep your mirrors. So next up we got these big beefy winglets. These are actually full carbon fiber, both sides. They add so much aggressiveness to the bike. These are made custom by a friend of mine, Vic Lee, who actually does sell them. I'll throw his Instagram up on the screen if you guys are interested. He also does make the turn signal winglets, which we'll talk about in just a second, but man, I love these winglets so much. Like I said, I'd never really seen any of them until Vic started making them. He actually basically made a 3D software mold of these winglets, built them from scratch, and now he makes them into a full carbon fiber. These things are absolutely insane, and it just adds so much character to the bike. It's insane. Like I said, he makes these turn signal winglets as well. I just threw them on the bike the other day. Absolutely love them. Fully functional, adds a little bit of a winglet too. We got this crazy double winglet look from the front now. The white with the red wheels. If it wasn't a Ducati, it is now. You can see the texture from it. These are 3D printed, which I actually kind of like that, honestly, the aesthetic of the 3D print. Again, just a custom factor to the bike. I love things that are different that you don't see on typical S1000. So, and Vic is the man. He makes so many custom parts for the S1000s, R1s. Definitely hit him up if you guys have any questions or wanting to get a set of these winglets or the turn signal winglets. So as you can see, the bike is completely white. It's got this crazy pearlescent flake in it, completely custom fairings from the front to the back. These are also ceramic coated by the boy Trevor. And these fairings are by amotopartfairing.com. I do have a code, which is FASTFLOW at checkout, which will save you guys quite a bit of money. They do completely custom fairings. This is actually my third set from Amotopart, and I absolutely love the way all these fairings have came out, the fitment, the paint. I would suggest, if you guys are getting custom fairings, to ask for a better clear coat, just to make sure the fairings stay in shape. But besides that, that's really my only complaint with Amotopart. These fairings have been amazing. I've taken them on high speed runs, I've taken them on and off, and again, like, that paint is so crazy. I don't know if you guys can see with the camera. So before we go any further on the bike, I want to talk about the performance parts, because there is some goodies hidden in this bike. First of all, it is flashed. It's on the final edition flash by Bryn Tuning, which again, I have a code for them, FASTFLOW at checkout, if you guys want to save some money. Been using Bryn Tuning since 2020. Highly recommend them. Use them for 2 different S1000s, 3 different tunes, and again, just just been phenomenal. They've been doing a lot of testing and tuning for a long time, and Bryn definitely does know what he's doing when it comes to these BMWs. It also has an IAT relocation, the very nice sprint filter, and as you can see, we have a full Akrapovic exhaust. The slip-on is a titanium, the headers is not. It is stainless Acra headers to a titanium slip-on, but it is a full Akrapovic exhaust, which sounds insane. I'll give you guys a quick rev. Those pops. Yeah, like I said, it sounds crazy. Those are very low RPM revs, and you can still hear that pop. It does that at pretty much every single RPM. When I'm shifting very fast, when I'm kind of just cruising, it's got that pop all day long, and it sounds absolutely amazing. So there's a lot of carbon fiber on this bike, and most of it has been bought through Moto Composites or Bestum. I did a lot of research on the best carbon fiber for the best price, and I took a gamble on Bestum, which was kind of the cheapest manufacturer for carbon fiber parts for super bikes. But I absolutely love it. The tire hugger is from Bestum. The inlet fairings right here in carbon are from Bestum. The carbon fiber up here, which is actually a tank cover. I wish it was a full carbon fiber gas tank. But the twirl and the weave in this cover is freaking amazing. And this was only $200, so can't beat that. I got the tank cover from Moto Composites. I have gotten some little stuff here and there off of parts pages, which if you guys are not a part of forums or Facebook groups where people are buying and selling parts, you guys should definitely hop on there because you will save a ton of money. In my old mod list video, I talked about how I saved pretty much over $1,000 in those parts, and countering that up to now, I've saved even way more. One of the things that I got from somebody is this little carbon fiber exhaust hanger. Akrapovic makes these, and they are so proud of that product. They want $200 for that little exhaust hanger. So I saved 120 bucks on that part just alone. These are completely stock OEM wheels. They are just powder coated. It adds so much life to the bike when you powder coat the wheels. But I will say, having to clean these wheels, it does suck. Pretty much every time before I go to a bike event, or if I want to go out, I'm filming a video, I want the bike to be nice, I have to clean those wheels. Which I knew, not necessarily complaining, because to me, having a clean bike, it's worth, you know, the elbow grease, cleaning the bike before going out. And it's also kind of like a ritual, you know, cleaning the bike, making sure it's all nice before you go out and have some fun and stuff. If you guys are local to Kansas City, my buddy Ryan Bartels actually owns the shop. He does completely powder coating for a lot of things. I'll drop the shop in the description. Great prices, does great work, great turnaround times. Up top here we got the Pazzo levers. Those are about $150 to about $200, close to about 75 to 100 bucks per lever. They're absolutely nothing crazy. I'm not a fan of the shorties. I also do like the fact they got the breakaways right there, so if I ever did down the bike and I'm in a situation, most of the time it's going to break off right there and not take off my entire front brake lever or, you know, the clutch slide. I used to have some lever guards on these bikes, but after low siding them, they were pretty much done. But they saved a lot of the bike and they did a lot of the work, so I definitely do need to invest into more lever guards. Vic, if you're watching this video, I know you've been experimenting with the lever guards, man. I definitely need a set. But yeah, again, a fan of the Pazzos, nothing crazy. Jet black, matches the black on the bike. So coming up here is actually something I've been wanting to talk about, which is this aftermarket gas cap, the quick release. I got this gas cap from a friend. I actually changed his oil and he threw it to me. I don't even know how he had one for the Gen 3 that fit, but it fit. And I've been running this for quite some time. Well, actually the other day, completely messed up my ride. I went to go get gas and this thing would not open. It was stuck. I had to go home, I had to take the airbox cover off, I had to take the gas tank cover off. I had to completely take the gas cap out and beat this out because it was stuck. I also messed up a little bit of the carbon fiber gas tank in the process. So I'm not gonna lie, after being around bikes for so long, there are things that you can buy that aren't name brand that you can get away with, like rear sets and stuff like that. But gas caps, don't buy an aftermarket shitty gas cap, because this, if I was in a situation where it wasn't close to home, I would have been royally fucked. So we got the carbon fiber heel guards down here. Those were about 60 bucks. I got them off Bestum as well. I've had them for a long time. One of the things that's been on the bike for an absolute minute now. I also have there in full carbon, which you can kind of see nestled in between the fairings right there. A lot of carbon fiber on this side of the bike, actually. So since we're over here, I guess we'll talk about the chain. So I used to run the EK chains. This one I believe is a DID, which in my experience I've found that they are overkill for the price. This is a typical 520. I've had this for quite some time, and doing your maintenance on the chain will keep the chain just as good as, you know, an EK that are $250. And after the thousands and thousands of miles of clutch ups, tons of slack on the chain, and then immediately getting pulled from doing clutch ups, it's still been completely fine. Also, one thing I forgot to mention too is the brake cooling ducts, which you can see better on this side because of the sun. Full carbon fiber. These are actually universal. All you gotta do is pop the caliper off and then slide that on and then put the caliper back on. Super easy process to install these. I can't remember who makes these. A friend of mine in California threw me them because he had an extra set and the red did match the bike. But when I do get back home, I'll make sure I find the link for that. Something else I forgot to talk about too is the custom BMW badges. So these are OEM badges. This little red in between right here is the little vinyl strips that I bought off of Amazon that are already pre-cut for the BMW logo. On the other side, it is the normal blue one. And that's because when we were doing the brand new fairings on this, I put a vote on my Instagram on if people wanted the red or blue. There was 15,000 views on the story, and it was basically a full split of 2,900 votes for the red and 2,900 votes for the blue. So again, people also asked me why I have the red and the blue on different sides, and that's the story behind that. We did a vote on Instagram, and as crazy as the odds were, out of 15,000 people, it was almost a full split right down the middle. We do have some protection goodies that's been on the bike for quite some time, which is the radiator guard, the oil cooler guard. I got those off of Moto Million. They're about 120 bucks for both of them, and definitely 100% worth the money. As much as rocks kick up into your radiator, messing up your radiator is super expensive, and to me, it's not worth it. For me, the 120 bucks to protect them and be done with it. That's one thing I see a lot of people kind of slip up on these bikes, and you know, bikes in general is not buying radiator and oil cooler guards. It's typically kind of like that gray look to those radiators anyways, and when you put that black screen over there, it definitely adds a little bit of an aesthetic value to it. Fully functional, protecting it. So also underneath the seat too is a LiPo battery. It's the featherweight, which actually drops about 8 pounds on this bike. Absolutely insane. And this battery is a tank. It has been in my bike since 2020. I have left this bike on for hours upon hours when we're out filming, we're out shooting, and it always turns over. It's about 120 bucks for that battery, but not only is it one of the quickest and easiest ways to shave weight on the bike, it outperforms all OEM batteries that I've seen. As far as maintenance goes, I want to talk about too what type of oil I use, oil filter, because this bike has 30,000 miles, and I have been running the same liquids in this bike forever. So I know BMW calls for OEM, the Advantech, the oil that BMW makes, but me myself, I've been running Rotella T6 in this bike and my old S1000 for 4 years now. If you aren't familiar with the oil, it's actually a diesel oil, but I love Rotella, and my motor has been completely fine after hard abuse on the T6, and I will never switch up. I will forever run T6 in my S1000s. As far as the filter goes, I will always stand by using OEM filters on anything. So I do run the BMW OEM filter. It costs me about 50 bucks to do an oil change. Luckily enough, I do have a BMW Motorrad dealership, which isn't too far from here. About a 30-minute drive from me out to the dealership, but it's really not too bad if I'm doing oil changes, you know, once every 2 months or so. Well, that pretty much wraps up most of the mods on this bike. I am still not done with this bike, and the bike will change. Fairing wise, paint wise, all that will switch up as I decide to. Mods will come and go. So who knows, in the next year or so, we might be doing another modless video. It might be on a completely different bike. I'd like to say I appreciate everybody who's been supporting the videos. I know it's been a couple weeks since we posted. I've been undergoing a lot of projects, and life has just been kicking my ass lately, but finally find some time to get out on the bike, enjoy a little sunset. I know, even though we're just talking, I really wanted to make this video because a lot of people have been asking me about all the mods on this bike, and hopefully this will make your guys' process of modding your S1000 a million times easier. Also, if you guys are in the market for some new riding gear, I truly do love MBT. The gloves, the hoodie fully padded up, the pants fully padded as well. Got all the CE armor on me. Main thing is I am protected, but one thing I do love as well is the fact they do make some very cool, still stylish riding gear. So pretty much gonna wrap up the video here. The sun is almost all the way down. We talked about all the mods on this bike. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 things that I'm missing. We're gonna take a nice little sunset cruise back to the house, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.